Let's be real for a minute. I know we are living through a housing and rental crisis in Australia, but everyone is trying to sell you this Australian dream of owning a property, right? The government, the banks, the system, the people. And to be honest, I'm one of the people who thought buying a property would be easier than renting a property, right? That's when I embark on this journey. Some of you know that last year around November, I got my pre-approval and I started house hunting. Now, this wasn't a easy journey, and that is an understatement. And I'm gonna be so brutally honest with you about this whole process. With just 5% deposit, you can own a 600,000 property. But what they don't tell you is if you're only earning 50,000 to 60,000 per year, then your pre-approval amount will be so low that you would not be able to afford a 600,000 property with just 5%. That's just an example. I will tell you all the costing, the hidden cost, and everything. If you should have a buyer's agent, I mean, if you're a first home owner like me, probably too poor for a buyer's agent. I'm doing a whole series on this, and avoid this video if you're not in your 20s or if you have a partner, because this is the underdog story. If you're a single income household, then you're literally at the bottom, right? So you have your business investor, you have your investors, people who are buying their second property, and they have a little bit more equity, and you have couples, first home buyers, family, and then you have us. And I feel like people who are in their 30s, they already know, they're already a little bit bitter about the system because they already know. If you think you have patience, you are so wrong. Like, I have never been so infuriated. I can't find a word that describes that emotion properly. I have been frustrated so many times. I am making this video now because I don't want that anger to go away, and I want to be super transparent. Let me tell you, in this video, the easiest step, the first and the easiest step you gotta do is go to your mortgage broker or bank and get a pre-approval amount. That is by far the easiest step. I'm doing this series for you, hopefully not, and this, I don't want it to be inspirational at all. I really need it to be informational. I literally just signed my contract. Oh my god, and I'm just enjoying it. 2022, I got pre-approval for 430k. And in 2023, I got a pre-approval for 330. At that time, the assessing rate was too high. And in 2024, I got a pre-approval for 470. Yeah, that's right. I just had to look at it. What's the market like? When is the best time to buy a house? Why did I not buy a property in 2022? I had everything ready to go. The only thing was, it was not the market. I wasn't ready. The best time is when you are ready. It's not when the market is ready. At the moment, like in Queensland, the market is really crazy. Now, a lot of people will say it's probably not the best time to buy a property as well. What if next year the market is good and I'm not ready? I'm just ready this year. I wasn't ready in 2022. I was ready end of 2023, but my pre-approval amount was so low that I was only looking for apartment and townhouses, right? Ask yourself, are you ready to buy? Because the market, it goes, like, you'll ride that wave. One more thing, I literally came back from my pre-settlement inspection. I have another video coming up on why I was willing to buy a townhouse. If you're thinking of buying a property in Australia, don't, cause for me, money lost all its value. I said money lost all its value because early on I was looking at apartments and even townhouses because that's what would fit in my budget. So there was this one townhouse that I really liked, and I sent that townhouse to my mortgage broker to check the price range. So there's a lot of apps, but the particular one I used was CoreLogic. So it gives you the price range. For this townhouse, it was from 450 to 515 in high confidence. So that was kind of the price guide I was going by. And I knew how crazy the market was. So when I went to the open house and I really liked this property, one of the reasons was they had recently renovated the bathroom and it was all this black marbling. It was really cool. So I offered 515K on that townhouse, and guess what? Someone else offered about 540 on that property. So one of the massive problem that I see is overpaying for a property. Let me tell you this, real estate agents are not your friend. They don't give you a proper price guide, and at the moment even the biggest real estate agency, what they do is just say for sale price, and they will say we encourage you to put the highest price. So I don't know how that is ethical or why that is not monitored better, but that's a different issue. That's a different frustration. Maybe we can talk another day. But I was really keen on buying this townhouse, and I really thought to myself, should I put 540K on that property? Now, the couple of things, the townhouse was built on 98 meters square, and the rates. So this is what apartments and townhouses kills you, especially if you're in a single income household. I just have it here, so let me share that with you. So quarterly, the body corporate fee was about $1,000 and the council rates was $400. So it was extra $1,400 quarterly that I would have to find on top of overpaying for this townhouse. And another reason that I didn't overpay for this townhouse was capital growth on townhouses are really small. So if I'm already paying 540 for this little townhouse that is built on little land, what are my chances? If I were to resell it, I would not make any profit on this townhouse. If I live in it, I can make more value out of it, even though the council rates would probably kill me if I don't do another job. But on the flip side, I really like this property, so I genuinely really consider buying it. If I had gotten this townhouse for 520K, I would have bought it. And the reasons were, one, very low maintenance. I literally would just have to move in with my stuff and I didn't have to do anything. And the area was really small, so the maintenance cost around the house was also really low. It was fairly modern house, so if I were to ever rent it out, I knew it would easily go for rent. After all this, I have realized that getting a mortgage, getting a property is like getting married. Not because I got cold feet when I was signing the contract, but because every single person tells you that buying a property is a compromise. After trying to buy these townhouses and getting overbid by investors in these hot locations, one thing I've realized is I want to compromise, or I want to invest in developing locations rather than these hot locations. Because first my thought was, I'm young, so I really, even if I want to do business later, I really wanted to be in this already bloomed, already developed locations. For me, capital growth was non-negotiable. So capital growth was very important because I'm still young, and this first house is not going to be my last house at all. And statistically, first home owners only live in their first house from 5 to 8 years. So what the hell? So that's when I switched my mindset and started my search on future capital growth. I'm going to see my solicitor, who are charging me $1,300 and $400 for searches on the property. The past 2 days has been so stressful, and I am just hoping that things work out, going back and forth with the seller. I got a counter offer that I had to beat. So many things happening all at once. And now they're drafting a contract and hopefully I get to sign it today. Okay, so I'm back home. I quickly went to my solicitor, got the contract signed, sent. I do have to do $1,000 deposit by tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, so that's the process. Oh my god, does not feel real. Good morning! I really needed chamomile tea to calm me down. New update. So yesterday the seller has also signed the contract. Now I have 14 days to get my finance sorted. I have 10 days to get my building and pest done, which is already booked yesterday. I need to get insurance. There's something called cover note, which is like once the inspection is done, building and pest inspection is done, after that if anything happens to the house, it's kind of my responsibility because it's just one of the conditions in the contract. So I'm gonna get the insurance sorted. My solicitors have been really good in communicating everything to the seller. It feels like it's been 48 years that I'm waiting for this, but I really hope this is the house, and if it is, even though it feels long, is the most I enjoy. Oh god. Good morning, guys. I did my cover note insurance. That's ridiculous, but got that one done just in case. You never know your luck. And then today I got the building and pest inspection report back. There's a couple of major things. Obviously it's not a new house, newly built house or anything, so those things were expected. So going back to the seller with that. So see, finance was 14-day settlement, so waiting on that. For that with bank, they needed to do valuation from their end, which is happening today as well. And I think there's a cooling off period of 5 days. I also believe in the contract if I want to terminate the contract now. So the valuation report that the bank got had no issues at all. So happy. Now they're just processing the loan to be unconditional, and reckon it will happen today. All have read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. But getting into the market is so freaking hard, you know. How do you even play the game when you can't even get entry to the game? Happening! Now my solicitors are doing the searches of title and outlays, and I'm going to the house to do pre-settlement inspection. And I've been calling my parents for emotional support and leaning on my friends. Cheers, we now have 30-year mortgage. 30-day settlement. So approximately about a month ago, I signed my contract. Do you guys believe in manifestation? Because I think I do. Guess what? My best friend's birthday was literally around after 30 days. So my best friend is literally flying in for my settlement as well, but then it's her birthday too. Would you buy a house just because it has palm trees? Because for me, these palm trees make it all worth it. I decided I want to move on the day of the settlement, so I ran to Westview and got some stuff that my mom had asked me. And then I packed up. My best friend came and picked me up. She also got me this plant for the house. And first and foremost, we set up our God in our house, and it was also an auspicious day as per my dad. Me and my best friend grabbed the keys and we ran to IKEA for the day. We got the sofa bed and some pillows from Kmart for the night. I really want to show you a few things I bought from Bunnings. Is this vacuum and also this magic mop, which is really cool. And I got few essential from Kmart. The first thing first is those martini glasses to celebrate. And also we got some tea and that pan to cook, and obviously rice cooker, which is essential. So I didn't buy a new house, so even though the house was clean enough, just for my peace of mind, I just made sure I gave it a good wipe everywhere before I put some stuff. IKEA delivery was pretty early. It was 6:30 a.m. in the morning. After that, I grabbed a coffee and just took a little bit of stroll in the backyard. That's the garage, that's the shed where I put all the boxes. After setting up the kitchen, literally I was in no rush, but I did have some help from my friends and family friends, and my best friend literally flew in even though she had so much work to do. And this right here makes life and friendship so special, and I can't wait to have my family here. Is buying a property even worth it? Half of my salary goes to my mortgage. And the reason I'm telling you guys is because I said early on the series that I'll be really honest with you. And this is part 4. Like I told you guys, half of my salary actually goes to my mortgage. And while I was looking for property, one wise man said to me that if you think you're going to struggle with your mortgage, then you are not ready to buy a property. And I absolutely agree with it, because that was one of the indicators in buying a property as well. So for me, I decided that I was ready to buy a property. One was my saving, that I did not just want it to sit in my bank account. Second reason was that half of my salary was actually enough for me to pay off the expenses and to maintain the current lifestyle that I have. So I don't have any expensive hobbies. I don't really indulge in anything. The only thing is in food. So it hasn't been a lot of issue. I do love traveling, but then I'm really a comfortable, happy budget traveler. I have crashed my friend's couch many times in those terms, and I also have surrounded people in my life who actually value saving, budgeting, and just they have different priorities in their life. So that has absolutely helped me, and I can understand you might not be in the same situation as me. I seriously don't want you to watch my videos and think, oh my god, I'm falling behind, or maybe I'm supposed to buy a property. I would tell you this 100 times that renting is also a really good option as long as it really makes sense to your lifestyle. And that's the reason I didn't want to sugarcoat anything. I could have easily said, this is how I met my first home, but I really didn't want to do that. And that's the reason I named the whole series How I Made My Mortgage, is because I really want you guys to understand buying a house is a liability. It is a loan. You have to pay back. I didn't pay this whole money to the seller and got this house. It's actually like the bank is involved. Obviously you have your deposit and saving, but for my life, for my lifestyle, for my salary, for my budget expenses, it just made sense. And that's just who I have always been. When I was flying to Australia from Nepal, the first thing I told my dad, and I was literally I think 18, 19, and the first thing I told my dad was like, I'll come back in 5 years and build you a house. So that I have always been that kid. And the reason I say this to you is also because recently one of my friends actually told me that he actually hates going to Facebook because every single person is posting about their new house, and it's just human, it's just natural. He just feels like, oh my god, maybe I am getting behind in life. And I don't want any of you to think that just looking at me. I really want you to understand, look at your salary, look at your saving, and say, would I be okay maintaining the lifestyle that I have if I were to lose more than or half of my salary to mortgage? And if your answer is okay, even with that half amount I will still be very comfortable, I can live the life actually I'm currently living, I think I can maintain it, then I think you're ready to buy a property. Because even my current life, I am not cutting corners on basic needs. I'm not cutting corners and things that makes me happy. Tomorrow, if I want to go with my friend to celebrate her birthday, I'm gonna do it. It's not gonna be that you have to literally, you don't have to deprive yourself from the things that you actually enjoy in your life. If I were to go back in time, I think this is how I would embark on my journey of buying a property. First thing first, before even starting to save any money, people are always talking about the wrong thing. I feel like everyone always talks about deposit, but I think the most important keyword being borrowing power. I think we don't talk about it enough. So if I were to go back in time, I think this is what I would do. I would book a 10-minute appointment with a mortgage broker or a bank, and with my current payslip and income, I will find out my borrowing power. Now, I think this would do 3 things for me. Number 1, it would tell me my current budget for buying or investing in a property. Second thing, it will help me determine how much should I be saving for a deposit. And third thing is, if I'm not happy with the borrowing power, like the loan amount, my current budget, then it would help me look for a job in my current role that are paying more, or it will help me get second job to increase my income, to increase my borrowing power. I think that's what I would do. And I think this is more helpful for someone who is just starting to think about, hey, I think I might be interested in investing in a property or buying a property in 6 months' time or a year time. I just randomly started saving from my 23rd birthday. But at that time, I did have in my mind, I want to be able to invest either in a business or in real estate. So I didn't have a very clear, defined goal. I didn't have a number in my mind. Definitely not a SMART goal. So for you, if you are watching this, especially if you're in your 20s and you don't have a partner, I think that's how I think I would do it, for sure. And I really hope that helps. And another thing, if I were to go back in time, this is what I would have done from the start, because I only started doing this later. Don't be afraid to put in your offer. On the day of the inspection, if you get a vibe that, oh, I could see myself living here, just put an offer and do not overthink it. Just put the maximum you can offer for that property, maximum or minimum you want to offer. I would pay 550 for this property. Just put it in the offer and put in the 2 clause. One, subject to finance. Yep, this is how much I'm willing to offer, but if my finance doesn't come through, there's not much I can do. It's only pre-approval or because you haven't gone unconditional yet. And the second one is subject to building and pest inspection, just to make sure the condition of the house is good. But initially when I went onto inspections, I used to get very overwhelmed. And, I don't have anything sorted. I don't even think I'm in a mental space to buy a property. So I would actually not put an offer until I was 100% sure about the property. It's also like driving. The more you do it, the better you get at offering and figuring things out. If you go on inspection and if you like a property, I would say just put in an offer. And if it's a house that you really like, go to the real estate agent and talk to them and say, hey, I'm very keen. This is my name. If there is a bit more offer than mine, can you contact me? And they will say something like, hey, fill up the form and put it in the note if there is a higher offer than yours. Because at the moment, especially in Queensland, I think the property market is so hot that real estate agent doesn't really care that much to follow up on you. So you have to follow up and just introduce yourself and give them that opportunity as well. So there's one time I was actually not in Queensland, so I was away, and I had my friends go to the inspection, and it was a freestanding house. That's the catch for me. It was a really tiny house, but I spoke to the real estate agent on the phone and I said, hey, I'm really keen. I would like to make an offer. And he said, if it is less than 550k, do not put an offer. But I was like, I've never made an offer, and this is the house I'm really keen to make an offer. And even my best friend, she was like, you know what, just put an offer. Even the real estate agent was like, oh, not sure. I think I put in 520k. At him, I was like, oh my god, my first offer. So on this journey as well, you'll negotiate, you'll go and back and forth with the real estate agent. So it's better to get in that habit as long as you put that subject to finance clause and building and pest. I think this is what your mortgage broker or bank will tell you as well. But honestly, if I were to go back in time, I would, before saving any money, I would just find out my borrowing power first, for sure. On April last year, I became first-time homeowner, and it is so strange that I saw this comment today and triggered me to make this video. So I just want to quickly share with you guys 3 things that I've learned in the past 1 year after being a homeowner. Number 1 is you come rich on the outside, poor on the inside. It is to say that whenever you tell someone you bought a house or you bought a car, the instant reaction is like, people think you're doing so well, but that might not be completely true, in a sense that now you've gone backwards to being on a budget, being okay with having that financial restriction for yourself. If you're someone who loves having that access amount and who likes that freedom of quitting their job whenever they want and traveling whenever they want, then probably homeownership is not for you. And number 2 is having fears. When you have property or mortgage, is definitely one of the biggest financial responsibility on your shoulders, and especially in your 20s and 30s. For me, it was crazy. I finally understood how a lot of time people will say that this civilization, law, order, people are kind of guided and the world is kind of operated by fear instead of other factors of life. So now fear of not being able to pay your mortgage, fear of losing your job, fear of a lot of those kind of things. I think that just pushes you into this world of adults who are just doing the right thing. If you're someone who are okay with that, then home ownership can be for you. And I'm saying this all from my introduction to these things in the very first year. You'll get council rates quarterly. There's so many things, and that brings me to number 3, which is maintenance. It is quite a big responsibility because a lot of things can go wrong. 2 months ago, the plumbing in one of my tap, I don't know what happened, was this leaking, and then I had a moment of panic as well. I was like, oh my god, this is unexpected expense that I didn't account for that month. So a lot of maintenance as well of the house. You just want to make sure you're okay with that as well. But there are other, I think, good things about owning a house. How I'm going to turn this house into our assets from a liability. And thank you for liking my video yesterday. So here's another 3 things that I've learned in my first year as a homeowner. Number 1 is home insurance. As a literal adult child, I didn't know the importance or the value of home insurance. Yearly, I'm paying so much in house insurance. It's hard to see the value. But recently, there was a cyclone scare in Queensland. You guys probably have heard about it. You cannot add cyclone cover 48 hours prior. So I was very lucky, and that gave me this huge relief and peace of mind. As an adult, one of the things that you'll do often is protect your peace. So, house insurance is absolutely important. Number 2 is attachment. When I was buying this property, I was telling everyone that will listen that, oh, this is my first step into investing. This is not my home per se. I have really developed this attachment with the house. The first house ever. This is the house where my parents really made it home, and they've planted a mango tree. Now I have attachment with the plants. And it is a huge liability, and it is very important that we also look at it objectively, and I'm working on it. I will report back when that happens. Number 3 is a little bit of good news with all the things that I've learned. So my property has grew up to 16%, which is massive for a first year. So if you are lucky enough to find a suburb that is growing, you can see a lot of growth and increase in values, which is really helpful. Homeownership is not for the weak. On April last year, I became a first-time homeowner, and this is my final part of sharing everything that I've learned in the past year. Number 1 is homeownership is not for everyone. But if you're a girl and if you're wondering if you should buy a property or wait until you're coupled up or wait until you are married to make that purchase, I'm your living proof. And from my experience, if you are ready, don't worry about the market, if it's high or low. Don't worry about anything. If you are ready, in my experience, I don't regret buying. Okay. It is for me as simple as if I want to get a coffee, I'll go get a coffee. I can't wait for someone else to come and be ready to go get a coffee. If that makes sense. We live in this golden age where women can do anything. Women can own things. And as I said in my last video, my property actually grew up to 16%. Imagine if I waited around. Having said that, I did share a lot of other honest experience about homeownership in my last 2 videos. Second thing, if you're someone who's renting and you are happy with your life, you're content with your life, then please don't let other people's milestone, like bought a house, discredit your own. Please know that you don't have to buy a property to know that you're investing in something greater. You could be investing in yourself, you could be investing in shares or crypto or any other measures, right? In this economy, buying a property does not guarantee that you made safest investment.